The effects of mental health issues following both World War I and World War II were profound and long-lasting, shaping not only the lives of individual soldiers, but also the societies they returned to. These conflicts, among the most devastating in history, left millions of combatants and civilians suffering from psychological trauma, a reality that was not always recognized or adequately addressed at the time. World War I, 1914 to 1918, introduced modern warfare on an unprecedented scale, with trench warfare, chemical weapons, and prolonged exposure to horrific conditions. Soldiers experienced extreme stress, fear, and trauma, leading to what was then called shell shock. This term, initially believed to result from physical brain damage due to artillery bombardments, later encompassed a broader range of psychological symptoms, including anxiety, nightmares, tremors, and emotional withdrawal. However, medical understanding of psychological trauma was limited, and treatment was often inadequate. Many soldiers suffering from shell shock were labeled as cowards, with some even facing execution for desertion. Those who survived often struggled to reintegrate into civilian life, facing stigma, unemployment, and broken family relationships. Governments provided limited support, and many veterans spent years in mental institutions or lived in poverty. On a societal level, the trauma of World War I contributed to a broader sense of disillusionment, reflected in literature, art, and politics. The interwar years saw an increase in pacifist movements and a questioning of traditional values as people sought to make sense of the massive human cost of the war. World War II, 1939 to 1945, was even more widespread and destructive, affecting millions of soldiers and civilians across the world. Unlike World War I, there was a greater recognition of combat-related psychological trauma, now referred to as combat fatigue or war neurosis. Soldiers who had endured prolonged combat, captivity, or witnessed mass atrocities exhibited symptoms similar to those seen in World War I, such as severe anxiety, depression, and flashbacks. By this time, psychiatric treatment had improved, with a more compassionate approach emerging in military hospitals. However, many veterans still faced difficulties in receiving adequate care upon returning home. The post-war period saw a significant rise in alcoholism, domestic violence, and homelessness among ex-servicemen as they struggled to adjust to civilian life. World War II also had a unique impact on civilians, particularly survivors of the Holocaust, bombings, and wartime occupations. Many experienced severe post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, which was not yet officially recognized. The psychological scars of war influenced entire generations, leading to shifts in family dynamics and social structures. In the years following World War II, psychological research advanced, leading to the eventual recognition of PTSD in 1980. The war also played a role in shaping modern mental health care, as governments began to invest more in psychiatric services and rehabilitation programs for veterans. The psychological consequences of both world wars continued to be felt for decades. The impact on families was profound, with children of traumatized veterans often growing up in households marked by emotional distance, aggression, or silence about the war. These effects extended to wider society, influencing attitudes toward war, mental illness, and social policies. In many ways, the mental health crises following the world wars helped to push forward changes in mental health awareness and treatment. While early responses were often inadequate, the suffering of millions ultimately led to a deeper understanding of war trauma, influencing how we approach psychological care today. The legacy of mental health issues from World War I and World War II serves as a reminder of the lasting scars of war, not just on the battlefield, but in the minds and lives of those who survive it. As we continue to learn from history, it is crucial to provide ongoing support for those affected by conflict and to recognize that the psychological wounds of war can last far beyond the fighting itself.